Just wanna say make them proud, but you can tell ups from downs. It's all around.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my content. And if you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave me a like. In today's video, I'm coming at you with it's technically another testing and review video. However, I have already used the palette I'm about to use in this video, but I am using the Roxi X Revolution Ride or Die palette. I thought I'd use this palette again in a video because in my previous video I really didn't get on with a certain shade, and I really just wanted to give the palette like a fair shout because as it stood in that video, I kind of didn't really want to use it again. I wanted to use it for the shades that I feel like I would use personally, and if they worked for me then I would probably use the palette again. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to test out the shades that I would use on a day-to-day basis if I was going to do eyeshadow, and I'm going to see if they're up to my standards. So if you would like to see how I get on with the eyeshadows in this video, then just keep watching. So we're going to try again with the Roxi palette, and this time I'm going to do a look that I know what colours look nice on my eyes. So we're going to give it a proper full-on test today. See if we can get it to work the way I want it to. I'm going to take the shade Cookie as like my transition shade. This one's Cookie, and we're going to use that as our transition. I'm just taking that on my BI blending brush. So I'm not really getting a ton of pigment off that. I'm just going to try and build that up. It looks like a super pretty, like a neutral brown shade in the pan, so hopefully it builds up to be a nice colour. Yeah, this is my kind of transition shade that I'd quite like to use, so quite happy with that. So now that we have the transition shade down, I'm just going to take the shade Inspire and I'm going to use that on the outer corner of my eye. So that's this shade here. It's like a super pretty pink purpley-ish shade, and I'm just taking that on my Zoeva 228 Luxe crease brush. Ooh, that's looking super nice. Now that's got a really nice amount of pigment. If you didn't see my last video when I first used the shade Draco, I was so disappointed with the pigment in that shade, but this shade didn't come to play. Like, this shade is just coming out in full force. Then as always, I'm just going to go back in with my transition colour brush and I'm just going to diffuse out the edges. Like so. That shade has got to be my favourite shade I've used out of the palette so far. That shade honestly went on lovely, blended into the other shade beautifully, and was so easy to work with. This is the kind of like level of expectation I usually have with Revolution palette, so I'm really glad that most of the colours are seeming to work quite well. It's just like one dud shade, and it might only just be my palette. It could just be my palette that got like a really dodgy pressed mixture of the eyeshadow, but these shades that I'm using today are actually really nice. So hopefully they're all quite good, and I might just have to find a different way to use Draco, who knows. So now I'm going to take the shade Ariel, which is this one here. It's like a super nice pink with tints of red in it, so it is really nice. And I am just going to take that on my Morphe B79 and see how this one works. Yeah, even that one is super pigmented. That's really nice. Ooh, I like this shade. I like that a lot. I'm literally not even having to do anything with these shades. Just gonna tap back into a little bit of Ariel and just try and bring some of that colour back in. I just realised I said Ariel and I meant Inspire. And now I'm going to take the shade Cranberry, which is this shade here, and I'm going to use that in like the midpoint of my eye. Just going to take this on my finger. Then I'm going to take the shade Sunset and I'm going to use that in the innermost part of my eye. I'm just using a number 7 brush for this, and I'm just going to wet the eyeshadow with my Nip and Fab primer water. Ooh, I like that shade. I like that shade quite a lot actually. And now I'm just going to take a bit of the shade Inspire and I'm going to use that on my lower lash line. And now I'm going to take the shade Unicorn, so that's this shade here, and I'm going to use that on my brow bone and my inner corner. That shade is actually really, really nice. It's like a super nice pink shimmer. It's really nice. So this is all for eyeshadow. I'm going to quickly jump off camera, apply some mascara, and then I'll be straight back to finish the video. I feel like I can finally give like a fair verdict on the palette, seeing as I've used shades that if I was going to make this my go-to palette that I would use on a day-to-day basis. So I actually feel like the palette is really, really nice, and I do feel like I could get a lot of use out of it, especially with the more berry-like shades and also probably the more warm tone shades. I feel like they're going to get quite a lot of use when I do reach for this palette. I do feel like I am going to steer clear from Draco until I decide or figure out how to get it to work properly for me, but that shade I just feel like was a little bit of a flop. But with the shades I used in this video, I do feel like the palette is really, really good. I do feel like it is worth the money. It's definitely got some different shades in there that you can get some use out of if you're not used to using shades like that. I also feel like it's quite an easy palette to use. I feel like if you're a beginner in makeup, you could easily use this palette and do some really, really beautiful looks, some adventurous looks, because a lot of the shades do a lot of the work for you, to be honest. So I don't feel like it's a hard palette to use, so beginners could definitely use this, and I do feel like people that are a bit more experienced with makeup, they would be able to get quite a lot of use out of this palette also. But all in all, I do feel like it is quite a good palette. One thing I will just say though, and it's not like it's not about the Roxi palette, Makeup Revolution definitely bring out their collabs far too quickly. I feel like I only just picked up the Rachel Leary collabs, and now they've brought out a whole new collab with a new YouTuber, and it's just so hard to stay on top of. So if you're wanting to get the releases when they first come out, you're literally going to be buying a new palette probably every month. Like, that's just insane. Like, if you're someone like me who likes to buy a lot of makeup, then that's actually fine. But for people that don't really buy makeup too much but like to buy new stuff when it comes out, it's like a lot to keep on top of. I feel like Revolution really need to slow it down a little bit with their collabs, but that's just my own opinion and I'm really thirsty. I love a good cup of tea. The actual palette I really do like. I feel like I could get quite a lot of use out of it. Will it be my go-to palette? I don't think so. I do feel like I have palettes that are just as good as this, and I feel like I've got Revolution palettes that have just got more shades in it that I would use more often, so I don't feel like this palette is going to get too much use. However, if you do want me to use it again in a video and do a specific look, then just let me know and I will do that. But yeah, I feel like that's everything for today's video. I feel like the palette is decent. It's not my fave, but it's decent. So that is everything. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a big fat like and leave me a comment down below. Let me know that you enjoyed the video, and if you have any suggestions, just let me know in the comments and I will get onto that for you. If you're enjoying my content, please don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss me, and also put on that bell so that you don't miss the notifications too. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye.